Yes, welcome back to the video about theory B, calculating the incline. But what is an incline? Well, let me tell you that. An incline is in Dutch het hellingsgetal. And then you say, well, I still don't know what a hellingsgetal is. Well, let's take a look at this picture here to the right. If I have a triangle, you can say that this vertical part is the so-called, and let's call it the horizontal part, by the way. And we have the horizontal part we call run, and the vertical one we call rise. In theory, not theory, in version 12 of Numbers in Space, they introduced you this in second grade already. When we're talking about slopes, and in our version we still call this normally vertical and horizontal. Now here they're going to introduce vertical as rise and horizontal as run. Okay, so, and in Dutch this is just called, rise is called verticale verplaatsing of verticaal, and run is called horizontale verplaatsing. Well, what is now the incline? The incline is a so-called ratio. It is a fraction of rise divided by run. So here the incline is the same as if there's a number here divided by is there a number here. So let's say you have a practical situation like here where my rise is 30 and my run is 412. The incline is now equal to rise divided by run. That means in this case 30 divided by 412. In Dutch we say het hellingsgetal is gelijk aan verticaal gedeeld door horizontaal. Het heeft eigenlijk ook een beetje te maken met je richtingscoëfficiënt. Maar hier gaan we het in een iets andere context gebruiken. And this incline is going to be rather important. Remember, the incline is not in degrees or something, right? It's a ratio. So we don't know the actual degrees of this slope. We will take a look at that later on in this paragraph. And, well, let's discuss. If I know that the incline is rise divided by run, what you oftentimes find is that your incline is a very small number. So, for example, if I go one slide back, you see the incline is approximately 0.073. And we don't really like working with small decimal numbers. So what they have invented to kind of circumvent this is, if we're now going to not write the incline as a decimal number, well, sometimes still a decimal number, but we're going to instead now convert this to a percentage, to grades. And again, this is not degree, this is grades, which in Dutch is called hellingspercentage. Ik denk dat dit in het Nederlands iets makkelijker is. Je hebt het hellingsgetal. En als je dat keer 100% doet eigenlijk, dan vind je het hellingspercentage. Net als je normaal gesproken met percentages werkt. In English, these are called the inclines and the grades. Okay, so instead of saying the incline is 0.18, you can also say that the grade is 18%. And actually, if you've been traveling in mountain-rich countries like, for example, Switzerland or Austria, or even if you go somewhere in the Netherlands where it can be a bit more adventurous, you sometimes see signs like this, which actually indicates how what the incline is. How higher your percentage here, how bigger your grade, and your grade you can then of course convert back to your incline. So 14% means an incline of 0.14. When instead of writing down 0.14, you see 14%. Well, and know that difference, by the way. The difference between the incline and the grade is rather important. As we can see right here in this example, if I have a slope that has a grade of 14% and a run that is 560 meters, calculate the rise. Well, if we had the incline and the run, we could calculate rise, right? Because rise is then the only variable that is unknown. But we don't know the incline either, or do we? Right? Because if the slope is given with a grade of 14%, the first thing that you should do is now just convert this to the incline by dividing it by 100. And again, the book puts a comma here. This has to be a point, of course, not the first time that they did this incorrectly. So this will be 0.14. And now you can just fill in this formula. Because if the incline is 0.14 and my run is given as 560, you just get this. Hey, and this is why we practice theory A, right? And theory A, we got questions like this only with the rise being of the variable x, or the variable another letter. Here, the variable is rise. If the x is here, then we could normally multiply the numbers, right? So now rise is equal to 0.14 times 560, which gives me 78.4 meters. And they don't ask us to round. So here you go. This is the answer. Okay. So now how to convert from grades to inclines and the other way around, and know how to apply this formula. I think that's the most important part. And know that both are not talking about angles in degrees. Again, take a look at that later on. Actually, that will be the topic of the next video. Good luck.